So be here now. Ram Dass is where we're going to start, and it's Bhakti Yoga. Y'all remember what Bhakti Yoga is, right? No? Love, the yoga of love and devotion. Bhakti Yoga. So when you practice that, love and devotion, love as in one, like true love and true devotion, not false love or the love that we, I love my car, I love my food, I love this, I love that. Not that love, but the love of the divine, the love of the truth, the love of the true self, the love of knowledge, the love of light, that love. So he says, and this is Ram Dass, be here now, just as with every other method of coming to the light, if it works, we get attached to the method, failing to realize that it is the goal and not the method which we crave. A relationship starting out as one that awakens love can only remain a living vehicle for love to the extent that it is continually made new or reconsecrated. That is, each partner in love must always strain to see through the veils of personality and body, to see the divine essence within himself and his partner. And he must come to see the veils, as maya, as illusion, the divine illusion, the divine mother, and worship even the veils without getting trapped into thinking them real. Such ideas are reflected in the highest marriages, or for that matter, the highest form of any relationship. Play your role in the divine dance, but know it to be such and worship its divinity. Song, dance, chanting, and prayer have been, throughout the ages, traditional forms of Bhakti Yoga. Song, dance, chanting, and prayer have been, throughout the ages, traditional forms of Bhakti Yoga. There are many levels at which you can participate in these rituals. At first, such rituals are matters of courtesy, and you are the observer. Then you arrive at the stage of perpetual participation, a sing-along. Then in time, you become familiar with the routine, and you start to identify with the process. As your identification deepens, other thoughts and evaluations fall away until finally you and the ritual become one. At that point, the ritual has become the living process and can take you through the door into perfect unity. To know that these stages exist does not mean that you can jump ahead of where you are. Whatever stage you are in, accept it. When you are here, when you have fully accepted your present degree of participation, only then will you start to experience the next level. So he goes on to talk about singing familiar songs, or most familiar to us in the use of songs to open the heart, hymns, holy songs. Holy, 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 or we gather together to ask the Lord's blessing, or mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord, or stand up for Jesus, or Amazing Grace, have touched the hearts of millions with the Spirit. In India, bhajan, the singing of holy songs, has been until recent times partially the only social function in the village. Evenings, the men gather, squatting or sitting on the ground in a circle with their stringed instruments and cymbals, and they take turns singing the stories of the holy beings such as Krishna or Ram. Night after night, they participate in this simple pastime, keeping themselves close to spirit. It is often startling to a Westerner to realize that it is not the beauty of the voice, but the purity of the spirit of the singer that is revered by these people. It was only when music was profaned that it became a vehicle for gratification of the senses. Prior to that, it was a method of communion with the spirit. A special form of Bhaja Yoga is called Kirtan, which is the repetition in song of the holy names of God. Perhaps the most familiar of these in the West at this present is the Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And I'm sure y'all have probably heard that, yes? That's close to the end of Ram Dass's Bhakti Yoga. But it brings me to the heart and the heart chakra and where we need to go to open our heart center and our heart chakra and how we need to move to true love and true devotion. Because it's not always really true. And the reason, there's another side of love, right? And this book is The 8 Human Limbs, and it's Cathryn Michon. And we read from her last week, too, and she's very interesting, has a very nice writing. It's fear and attachment. One shadow emotion of the heart center is that of fear and attachment. Fear is very visible, present in our Western society. Fear marks the body in the areas of the heart and the chest. The heart chakra crisis in our society is why we are suffering from the epidemic of disease of fear. When you consider heart disease, lung disease, and breast cancer, fear is the number one premature killer. There are two forces which work in life, love and fear. Love and fear are two sides of the same coin. Therefore, if you are afraid, remember, it's a moving force to be dealt with. That's Yogi Bhajan. Doing physical and spiritual work to get from a place of fear into a place of gratitude will change your life and your health for the better. I've seen it time and time again. Many people's greatest fear is the fear of death and dying, confronting the unknown. What we will go through in the dying process, and when will it occur? It's also our most realistic fear, because it's an experience that everyone will eventually have to face and go through. Specifically, we fear the pain of dying and uncertainty of when death will happen to us. On a logical level, it's easy to accept that it's foolish to fear that one thing that is guaranteed to happen. But accepting that emotionally is perhaps the greatest challenge of human beings. As yogis, we say you will die, but you never have to grow old. We come to go. Death is just shedding your body. It is like taking off your shirt and throwing it away. So why are you so afraid? At the time of death, the entire life you have lived is paranormally shown to you, and you are made the judge. If you can forgive yourself at that time, you are liberated. Yogi Bhajan. In my many years of working with cardiac patients, I've seen the effect that fear has on our physical body. Death is not unimportant or important, but fear is very important. Any moment of life is a dead moment when you are not at your highest frequency. To die is an art. Great are those who have learned to die with smiles on their faces. Yogi Bhajan. And she continues on and on and on and on, and then we get to the... I like this quote. This is another Yogi Bhajan quote. What gives you strength? Your thoughts. What weakens you? Your thoughts. What destroys you? Your thoughts. In reality, thoughts are given to expand you, so you'll realize I am all. So fear and attachment, where we have to deal in order to kind of clear the heart chakra, open the heart chakra, so that we can vibrate from the heart chakra.
That's so good. That's so good because it was so good because I so experienced the closing off of everything here when I had a rather traumatic experience that took me a while to get rid of. And every single time that I've done something incrementally more to open up that part of me, I've noticed that it feels like I have a new chamber in my life, and my sense of calm and sense of being able to feel the internal core of vibration has been heightened.
Yeah.
And I just received a phone call from my son was asking about his son, who was in process of being born. His cord was wrapped around his neck, and he's having some trouble, being able to say what he wants to say. And that didn't happen to me, but what did happen to me in my bad experience left a residue of that kind of thing. That when I heard him talking and trying to talk, I thought, God, that's how I feel. So I was trying to figure out what would be a good solution to help him, be able to get the rhythm of his voice back. And the same thing I was looking for myself. And so then I walked in here, and this is what you're talking about, because what I was telling Matthew is I think that he needs to hear chanting music. It can be Indian chanting. It can be any form of chanting, rhythmical, over and over again music. But I know for me, that is a lot of what establishes that rhythm.
Yes. We'll try to chant tonight, because those of you who come to class often and you've been involved in the chanting that we do, don't you feel different or better, or do you feel that? It feels like it's still there vibrating in you.
Yes, for like 24 hours.
For a long time. It feels wonderful. And it gives you some sort of peace. And it's not really explainable, but that's why we do it. That's why we do it. To give us that kind of, that opening that we need. Chanting and singing is good.
So all cultures have discovered that from a very early period, including dance.
Yes.
It's like
dance.
Carolina's about to do that, probably, in her dance. The thing that she's going to be doing is probably the establishment of that kind of rhythm.
He says dance and sing-alongs and chanting. Humming. We have a pranayama breath where we make that sound. We call it the bumblebee breath. So.
And rhythmic chanting is actually organizing your breath. It's organizing your breath. So taking this pranayama class that I took, I noticed with doing that every single night, I totally felt a big change in the way I breathe now. And it's like I don't think I'm ever going to stop doing that. Yeah,
learn to breathe. Learn to breathe. I'll say this, learn to breathe, and there's another thing that's going to sound really funny that I'm going to say learn to do. Learn to sit up straight. Learn to sit up straight. Do you know why? Because our chakras live on our spine. That's where they are. That's their home. So when we're in this position or we're crunched in any position, then they're not at their fullest. Do you see? They're compressed. They're not at their fullest. We work a lot in this class to open the spine, right? That's like our main thing that we do. And you hear me say, sit up straight, sit up straight, sit up straight. And we have to think of thousands of ways to sit up straight. Do y'all have any more questions or comments?
Yeah, I think fear and breathing are related, because they say fear is the mind killer, but if you notice when you're in fear, you're not really breathing when you're paralyzed in fear.
Yeah, and not breathing, cutting off your oxygen by not breathing, even if it's a short amount of time, and then you breathe again, that's not healthy. It's really not good for the cells and, the brain and your thought, your well-being. It's just not a good thing. We need to learn to breathe first.
We're also pushed around by a kind of unseen force. When we get in traffic, we're pushed around by an unseen force. When we're in our jobs, there's an unseen force that's pushing people all the time. And that's what people need to rebel against, I believe. I think we should stand up and say, hell no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be pushed around.
Right. I'm going to love myself.
All at once.
Which is what she says, and so does Ram Dass. We have to learn to love ourselves as we love our neighbors. Not just love your neighbor and forget totally about yourself. That's also taking care of your physical body, taking care of your mind. There's things that we have to do to take care of ourselves, to put ourselves in position to take care of others or to love others properly. Yeah,
I would say, Barbara, you're right. I've gone through that where you are thinking and you're thinking whatever you're thinking, and pretty soon the worry, the fear that comes in, and all of you are like, where did that come from? How did that happen? So force or retrain your thoughts, or teach yourself to bring the positive thoughts in, and don't let things that are there in front traffic work come and bother you, like the speed of whatever negativity there. So train your thoughts and bring them mind back where you want to take it, like your child with confidence. Try it.
I think it's not an understatement that it feels like an infusion of grace. Because I noticed, every single day after that, and sometimes more dramatically, things that I was having so much trouble making happen just fell into place over and over again. I was like, my gosh.
I tell you, I think that practicing using the witness, the observer, really, really was a breakthrough for me. So if you hadn't tried that, if you hadn't heard anything about that, go to the website and listen to the witness and the witness two and see if you can kind of figure out what's going on there. But using the witness was a step for me. Just observing things was a big step for me in giving me some space to figure other things out or to move into another area, like the heart. Sometimes there's so much there you can't be vibrating from the heart because there's so much there. Not only that, you're vibrating lower chakras.
I'm vibrating root chakra right now.
Root chakra, yeah.
Well, it's hurting my lower back.
So
just so you know.
So that's what the physical body does, yes?
It does.
It tells you that.
Insecurity.
Yeah.
And it's like your base, you know.
And that's your
whenever
root.
I worry about certain things, like money, for example, it starts to hurt. And so I'm seeing the connection.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Watch those connections. Maybe no one else is noticing this, but get to know your body. Get to know your body, and you can start to say, okay, well, I'm feeling this way, and my body's also telling me that, yes, you are feeling that way, too.
So I went to do Reiki, and it was like, it helped a lot. And, it was interesting that helped for me.
Yeah, moving the energy around helps. Yeah. Move your breath, too. If you can't go and get help from someone, Reiki or massage, start working your breath and moving your breath and see if you don't feel better.
But if you want to refer,
Okay. Okay. All right, so I guess we'll start. Unless y'all have anything else to say. Other than that, next week, Be Here or Be Square. I don't even know if I read the right part in Cathryn's book, but oh well. That's a good book, isn't it?
I love that now. I want to get that book.
I've read it a lot. I mean, I've been reading it, but I just picked it up lately because it's all chakra related. It's all about the chakras, and so I thought since this Bhakti Yoga is so related to the heart and the heart chakra, why not? Why not kind of put them together and see if we can hear different lingo and get different, get it a different way.